Hey guys, what's up? My name.
Hello again, I am Blunty, and this is a video on my latest custom build PC project called the Rec Rig, designed for aspiring YouTube gamers, Let's Players, and Twitch streamers, based around an affordable but current generation hardware like the Ryzen 3 1200 and GTX 1050 at its heart, which do the heavy lifting. But the advice here will be relevant regardless of the hardware you're using for your recording or your streaming. One of the most influential settings when it comes to squeezing out the best performance and video quality for live streaming or local recording, or indeed both at the same time, is whether or not you set up your capture software to utilize software-based video encoding, which places the load on the CPU, or GPU-based encoding, which in this rig's case uses the hardware-based NVENC encoding built into NVIDIA's GPUs. AMD cards also have an encoder on board, but at least with OBS you'll also need to install a small plugin to actually utilize it. On the CPU versus GPU front, there's a lot of bad advice out.
Ну, еще какой-то школьник добавился. А, да, эксайт дорогой.
Сука, сейчас было обидно.
Нормально, тоже какой-то там.
Охуеть! На, пошел на.
Шизик, ты чё, офигел? Я тогда тоже.
GPU front, there's
Шизик, ты чё, офигел? Я тогда тоже.
Нет. Пускай вот.
Какой дал?
Минус 90 дали.
Бля,
Иди забирай скайп, иди скайп выдыхай. Я скинул там. Вот.
У меня 2 хп.
Да, хп у тебя?
охуеть!
Да, хп у тебя?
Бля,
Иди забирай скайп, иди скайп выдыхай. Я скинул там. Вот.
У меня 2 хп.
Иди скайп выдыхай. Я скинул там. Вот.
У меня 2 хп.
Да, хп у тебя?
My name is Speedbreaker, and in today's video, the game that you're playing. But unfortunately, you have to think about your
advice out there about this issue at 60 frames per second, and I'm using the cleaner and better looking. But using the CPU encoding is not always a practical option though. Sometimes, especially when you're asking the same PC you're streaming from to also run a demanding game, and should use a much higher bitrate for pristine video load on your system to encode it in the first place. For 1440p or even 4K recordings, you'll stretch between 70 and 2. At these higher quality bitrates, the tables flip. Now, it becomes much more advantageous to use the GPU hardware encoding option. It is much more optimized for these higher bitrates. Meanwhile, if you ask the CPU to do exactly the same job at these bitrates, you'll get pretty much the same visual quality. However, the CPU will need to work much harder, which means you'll have less overhead for other tasks, and the CPU will run hotter, which will potentially make the fans spin faster, which will potentially cause you issues.
Hello, everyone. Look very good. Well, same thing. Yeah, the M.2 SSD, and it's amazing. It's a super fast drive. I love it.
Ultra and everything, it's not gonna make the game.
They just put it up to 3.5 or use. Up to you. Obviously, you have to keep your stream key a secret. Correct, because if you don't, then people can probably stream as you or something. That'd be kind of